Hi everyone, welcome back and good evening, and as much as it pains me to say it, welcome to February. I say that only because January only begun yesterday, it feels as though. Okay, maybe a week or so ago. Nevertheless, Groundhog Day is tomorrow, and that's going to be one busy rodent then, as is every other forecaster across the nation. And it's such a stark contrast to where we were just a week ago. We've got, of course, severe weather rolling in. We already knew ahead of it to the scale of last week, or to the tune of the end of last week. We're still talking about that change coming in late tomorrow night into your Wednesday morning. We've already got a wind advisory in effect for a whole lot of counties and the potential for some severe weather. I'll outline a time frame for you, better location, and try to pinpoint as much as we can at this hour who can expect to see what. The Montgomery County Board of Education met last week. I've got coverage of that meeting tonight, a part of which will center around the board now tasked with beginning a search for a new superintendent of schools. We'll let them tell you why, and we'll let Superintendent Stanley Holbrook, as he informed them during the meeting, tell you why. And just as I was sitting with you Friday evening, just as I was sitting down for the early show, the Montgomery County Sheriff's Department was obtaining an arrest warrant for a man that I told you about on Friday's program after some sort of an altercation in an area parking lot. One Montgomery County man was run over by another. The pickup truck used in that crime says the Sheriff's Department has been found, but the suspect has not. We'll tell you about the charges and the search and how you can maybe help as well. Some other news and information and updates to start a new week and a new month here on Your News Today. Thank you for being a part of it. So more on your weather forecast and other news in a few moments. Only a few things to mention before we get to local headlines. A planned power outage is in place for Johnson County tomorrow, a portion of Johnson County. It's going to start around 9 o'clock in the morning, and it's going to affect those who have service from Route 172, about from the State Highway Garage to around the Stockyard site, and all of the roads off of that as well, in between and including Little Mud Lick, I'm told. It's going to be off about 4 hours, they tell me. They're going to be doing some road construction there. The Department of Highways will have the power out, and they will work as quickly as possible to get it back on. This is only going to affect Big Sandy RECC customers. AP customers will not be affected, but once again, that is a planned power outage in the morning beginning at 9 for that affected area for a period of about 4 hours. Well, a little entertaining news. I'd like to pass this along. Eric Church and Chris Stapleton. Yeah, there's some folks getting to be very fortunate to share the limelight with him. It was Hank Williams a few weeks ago when we announced that summer tour. Now we learn Eric Church and Chris Stapleton lead the early nominees for the 51st Annual Academy of Country Music Awards. 3 nominations each, including Male Vocalist and Album of the Year. Wow. Good things keep happening for such an amazingly talented man. Who knows, maybe someday we'll get to sit down and talk with him. The Montgomery County Board of Education met last week. They discussed the custodians' hours changing from a 7 to an 8-hour day, and an estimated additional $29,000 a year for all custodians at each school, citing that there was more of a need for services. They also discussed the creation of a custodian position for the athletic complex, which would encompass the new football field, the field house, concessions, and what have you, as they're going to need someone to maintain that facility on a full-time or near full-time basis. From there was discussion centered around this presentation from the Director of Pupil Personnel, Brian Conley. Brian Conley, Director of Pupil Personnel, outlined the non-resident contracts for the 2016-2017 school year with 3 basic options. One is, as it stands now, an any or all policy, an open door policy, if you will, allowing students to come and go from neighboring school districts from all of our neighboring counties, currently 54 going out of the Montgomery County School District and 19 coming in. Each student representing a minimum of a $4,000 per year income, if you will, for the school district they attend.
There are 3 proposals for the non-resident contracts. One, of course, is the any or all option, which we have had.
It's what we had in the past, correct?
What we've always had in the past. Another option to consider is what is known as a one-for-one option. We currently have about, if the numbers are correct, if everything has been checked correctly in our software in Infinite Campus, we currently have 54 students that go out of district to our neighboring counties. Out of those 54 students, 43 are over in Johnson County. That's divided 13 at Paintsville Independent and 30 in the Johnson County Public School District. And then after the 43, the remaining 11 is made up of those other counties. The one-for-one option would only start this year, if that's something that you wanted to consider. Students who have already been leaving and going out of district and are already a part of those school systems and a part of those cultures over there would still be grandfathered in under the old contract.
And their siblings.
And their siblings that we had in 2015, 2016.
Conley explained under the one-for-one proposal, if there's not a one-for-one or a 5-for-5 or an equal trade number of students, if you will, the students that are wanting to transfer from one district to another are basically put on a waiting list on most occasions because a school is not going to give up a student and funding without getting one in return. Another option is a specific number option. Basically, all students that went to a school district the previous year can continue to do so, but there are no new students allowed to go out of one district in their home district to another school system.
It's roughly 35 students as of now. We've got 19 coming to us before leaving.
Those 35, the way the contract's written up, we don't get them back. They're already grandfathered into the other contract. They're gone.
Protected.
You know.
And their siblings are protected.
And their siblings.
Because you don't want to put a hardship on a parent having to drive kids to different schools.
Well, that's a big decision, I can tell you. Yeah, man, we're Cindy's kid.
Yeah, it's not an easy decision. I was just laying out those options.
I ain't gonna tell nobody that they can't send their kid where they want to
Right.
get an education. I mean, I think the parents, that's up to them.
Board member Rudd also agreed with Minus Ray Helton. Not being an agenda item that night, this was just discussion material and not something they needed to vote on, and agreed to bring it back up in further discussion at a later time. Conley also referred to the school calendar, saying that we'd missed 10 days due to bad weather. That is including today, and that does put school out on May the 19th with all breaks still intact. So far. There was also other discussion without any immediate action taken on several different topics, extending custodian days from 7 work hours to 8 hours, also creating a custodian position for the athletic complex, also discussion of looking ahead with the 6th grade students going to the middle school once the high school opens, the new high school that is. There will be some adjustments, moving 3 cooks positions, 6 classroom teachers positions, 3 special education teachers, and some other adjustments. Also the potential of selling the old Sigersville grade school building, maybe building a new bus garage on the land that they own next to South McGoffin Elementary if it were to sell. They did vote to create a certified teacher position at the adult education facility on a 100-day contract. That is with state funds, grant funds that will go away if they aren't used. They acknowledged the draft budget for the 2016-2017 school year, basically a rollover from last year with about a 4% contingency rate. The state requires 2%. The tentative budget will be discussed and released in May. And a major announcement from Superintendent of Schools Stanley Holbrook, one that he has told me personally and others that he was going to be making upon or near completion of the new high school project. And with consideration of it being an emotional statement, he asked that his letter of announcement be read by Michelle Howard.
Mr. Holbrook has asked me to read this letter to everyone. You all have a copy of the letter, and it says, "Dear board members, it is with a mixture of pride and humility that I write this letter to officially submit my notice of retirement as superintendent of the McGoffin County School District. I have served the school district in a number of positions in my 37 years in education. Throughout this time, I have always felt a pride in our students, staff, and community. I chose to live and work here with a dedicated and wonderful staff. I have always been guided with a deep, abiding love for all of our children and our wonderful community, with a dedication to excellence that has seen our students receive the ranking of the top 10% and most improved district in the state. This is an incredible accomplishment in just 2 short years. Not all challenges have been overcome, but we are definitely moving in the right direction. I have no doubt that our resourceful staff and talented students will win this battle. I wish to close this letter saying, I appreciate the atmosphere of mutual respect that was obvious in our time together. I have a respect for you as a board and as individuals, and I want to thank you for your professionalism. I wish you, our students, and our dedicated staff much continued success. This has been an experience that I will cherish and carry the wonderful memories through my remaining years here in Magoffin County. Sincerely, Stanley Holbrook, Superintendent.
All right, I'll speak for the board. I mean, you've done an outstanding job.
Thank you.
And, you've accomplished more per se than probably any superintendent in the history of Magoffin County.
I appreciate that.
With the speak up. New schools, new athletic complexes that the county has never had, never been able to utilize, and you've went to battle and got them for our kids in the community, and just we greatly appreciate it.
I thank you very much. I had Michelle to read my letter. I'm like Bill May. I kind of sentimental. I want to cry, so.
Yeah.
My friend Bill, I mean, he'd cry about anything, me and him would, so I thought I'd have Michelle to read.
It's also my understanding the Kentucky School Board Association will be largely responsible for overseeing and even operating the selection process for a new superintendent, a process that will take around 3 months altogether. Holbrook has not given his last day on the job as of yet. He can stay on until June the 30th, I am told. Also, they have issued their first advertisement this past Thursday or Friday for the District 2 school board seat, which is, of course, now vacant by the passing of Chairman Bill May. It's my understanding the process will be like this. Applications are available at the board. Any District 2, that's School Board District 2 individual who would like to apply can pick up an application between now and February the 10th. You will mail those applications to Frankfort. They will send a committee here to Magoffin County to interview all applicants, and the Kentucky Education Commissioner will make a selection, and that individual will serve until a special election in November. The next school board meeting will be next month for the regular session, and it will be at North Magoffin Elementary, as they plan on rotating at each school throughout the district for their meetings from this point further. I'll be right back. For high-speed internet starting at 15 meg for all of your gaming, movie, home, and business solutions, or to watch TV, including your favorite local channels without a contract with hundreds of channels and digital and HD quality, and to stay connected 24/7 with friends and family, a direct line to 911, or to give your business the link it needs, choose telephone service you know is always there. Just click on their link on this site to find out how affordable the latest technology in communications can be. Foothills Communications. I spoke to a few folks in Johnson County earlier today to find that things went very smoothly this morning for the first of what will undoubtedly be many days for a joint venture as students from Meade Memorial Elementary made their way to their first day of class at Central Elementary. It was almost as if they had been there for quite some time. All their desks, books, everything they needed, all their teachers' materials, things of that nature were put in place over the course of the weekend, and they plan on operating that as a 2 separate school facility, both under the same roof for the foreseeable future. No information or resolution yet on the actual future of the structure of the original Meade Elementary School and whether or not it will be replaced or fixed or repaired, anything of that nature. But as for what I understand, students were doing quite well, taking into, of course, all considerations at their new location. And they were welcomed with open arms, I'm also told. I've got an update. I'm just still waiting on an update on the condition of the man who was run over by a pickup truck last Friday afternoon. So we'll hold that for just a few moments, and then I'll also tell you about the charges that have been levied against the driver and the other details I have. So while I'm waiting on that, let me go ahead and go on over to tonight's Magoffin Farm Bureau community calendar. I've got a couple of birthdays and just a couple of reminders for you this Monday. Pearl, this one came in a little too late to get it on this past Friday. I think we were getting out a little early, maybe. No, I don't. It was just a busy Friday, busy news day. So my apologies. It's now belated, and that's all on me. But a happy belated birthday, nevertheless, to Pearl Lynn McCarty. Celebrated her birthday Saturday with a whole lot of love from Stephen, Michael, Tyler, and grandkids. Happy birthday, happy belated birthday to you. And I got this one in actually a few days ago. He's a teenager today. Happy birthday to Michael Douglas Lackey from Dad, Mom, Mamaws, and Papaws. Happy birthday to you. I've got to wish this guy his birthday for a bunch of years. And glad and privileged and honored to do it, Michael. Happy birthday. Happy 13th, Michael Douglas Lackey. I've got several other announcements, but they'll hold off for a few days, none of them till the end of the week or maybe even the first of next for now. So just let me suffice this by saying for now, mail, phone, fax, email, Facebook, drop them off here at the studio just above the Syersville Post Office on East Maple Street, and we'll put everyone's birthdays, anniversaries, or your group, organizational, or church announcement on for free. Be glad to do it. Just make sure that you tell us so we can tell everyone else. We also have one funeral service announcement this evening, and it's in honor of 70-year-old Kenneth Salyer of Mill Branch, who passed away on the 30th. He was married to Wanda Salyer, who survives. Kenneth is also survived by daughters Deborah Arnott, Charity Miller, Sue Jones, and Regina Minix. Visitation is going to be after 5 o'clock tomorrow and then prior to Wednesday's services, which are set to begin at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Visitation and services from the Syersville Funeral Home. Burial will take place afterwards at the Warney Bailey Cemetery at Beatree. Once again, services for 70-year-old Kenneth Salyer of Mill Branch to be held this Wednesday at 1. McGoffin County Sheriff Carson Montgomery says that he and deputies spent up into the wee hours this morning searching for a man identified as J.R. Allen, who confessed to the sheriff over a telephone conversation, as I understand, this past Friday, that he was behind the wheel of the pickup truck that ran over another individual identified as Tim May of the Conley Farm area after some sort of an incident or altercation. Passerby, as I told you last Friday, found May lying and left for dead, it appeared as though, in the parking lot of the Licking River Veterinary Clinic on Route 30. Sheriff Montgomery tells me that after receiving an anonymous tip with some general information about the whereabouts of the vehicle that was said to have been used in what he calls an assault, they found it after hours of searching in Breathitt County near Quicksand, I am told. Deputies spent several hours scouring that area before they found this truck abandoned here. Montgomery says it's believed that the truck belongs to a family member, but also believed to be the one that J.R. Allen was behind the wheel of when he struck Tim May in the parking lot of the veterinary clinic on Route 30. It was in that parking lot and next to the road that a motorist driving by saw May lying in, and he was able to identify to emergency personnel upon their arrival the suspect. It's also under investigation, says the sheriff, as to what sort of incidents may have led up to the altercation, but he says that by 5:30 this past Friday afternoon, his department had 3 warrants in the name of J.R. Allen, charges of first-degree assault, leaving the scene of an accident, and failure to render aid to another. There was damage done to May's truck. There were skid marks in the parking lot, in the gravels, if you will, where it looked as though Allen left in a hurried nature. There was an axe handle also lying by, and other evidence that there may have been an altercation that had taken place, the likes of which Montgomery still stresses is under investigation. But as of right now, he's asking the viewing public with any help to help find J.R. Allen, saying that his department is actively searching for him, and they're hoping that the public may be able to assist in finding his whereabouts. This is a mugshot from the Big Sandy Regional Detention Center saying that it was taken just this past December, a little more than a month ago, the charges of which were not certain as of yet, but taken when he was brought in on the 5th day of this past December. Nevertheless, we've also followed up on the condition of Mr. Tim May, who was said to have suffered a variety of broken bones and serious injuries. He's already undergone at least one surgery. He was also life-flighted via helicopter to the Pikeville Medical Center. I've also confirmed that since then he has been transferred to the UK Medical Center as well, where he is having to have assistance with breathing machine or respirator, that he also is possibly facing other surgeries and has other serious injuries to, once again, his pelvis, ribs, elbow, arm, and other parts of his body, but is expected, they believe, to recover at this time. Carson Montgomery, the sheriff, says that he's not been able to talk to May per his medical condition as of right now to get a statement from him, but for right now he's searching for J.R. Allen. I'll be pinpointing as much as possible, as much as you ever can around here, I guess, your forecast at the threat of some severe weather following one more message or two. Stay tuned. Well, indeed, a whole lot happening on your Licking Valley RECC forecast, and it's just going to be one extreme to another. A wind advisory already in effect, and we're already looking a week or so ahead to the return of possibly some more winter weather. But we have to talk about some severe weather out in front of all of that. Look for some areas of dense fog tonight, patchy dense fog I expect, and that fog lingering into your Tuesday. Thunderstorms will be possible Tuesday night, some of which may produce some damaging winds, mainly along and west of a line from West Liberty to Jackson to Harlan. Even outside of those thunderstorms, winds could gust 40 to 45 miles per hour from tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow night. So tonight, relatively calm, mostly cloudy, patchy fog. We've seen some light precipitation today, a low above freezing at 35. Tomorrow, look at the daytime high, 68 degrees on your Tuesday. Not necessarily a good thing. Low 55 tomorrow night. As far as a time frame, anytime after 9, 10, 11 o'clock tomorrow night. But I'll be back with you before then, and by then we'll certainly have a good idea as to what we can expect. But right now we're looking at 68 degrees for your Tuesday. An area of low pressure tracking from the plains to the Great Lakes is going to send this really strong cold front across the Commonwealth of Kentucky tomorrow evening into Wednesday morning. And the pressure gradient between this approaching system, says the National Weather Service, and high pressure departing to the northeast will lead to all those gusty winds developing along and in front of this front. We're talking peak wind gusts 40 to 45, localized up to 55 miles per hour, higher in the upper elevations near the Virginia border. So wind advisory in effect from 4 o'clock tomorrow until 10 a.m. Wednesday morning. We'll have some, of course, impacts from that, and we'll also be talking about locally heavy rainfall, a possibility as well. Into your Wednesday, there's a good chance of some showers, maybe even some thunderstorms up to 11, maybe noon on your Wednesday. And then actually clouds are going to part. We might even see some sunshine, and I expect we will in the latter afternoon hours. So becoming sunny after a few lingering showers and maybe some storms on your Wednesday. Temperatures falling just a bit, 58 to 31. And falling is the trend from there on out. At least out to the end of the work week, down to around 40 for Thursday and Friday. In fact, Thursday partly sunny, around 39. Clear skies, going to be clear and cold at night, down in the low 20s. Friday, pretty much the same, right around 40, right around the low 20 degree mark for daytime highs, nighttime lows, sunny and clear skies and calm for the last 2 days of the work week for most everyone. I know a lot of folks will be working on Saturday as well. Saturday, we'll see temperatures pick up to around 47 degrees, mostly sunny skies. And maybe on into the rest of your weekend, sunshine in the upper 40s as well Sunday. And then, around the corner, there's a possibility for it. Well, we know there's not a possibility. There's a likelihood we will see. There is a certainty we'll see the return of wintry weather. When? Well, that'll be a question we'll answer in a few days. Right now, in 24 hours from now, we'll focus on the possibility of some severe weather tomorrow night, hoping that it may not be as bad as what computer models have been predicting, and that may actually be the case. Well, it's the 1st of February. Before you know it, it will be the 1st of March. Still a lot of high school basketball action to go, but district games are becoming few and far between, and that means we're going to start to have some seeds for the upcoming district tournament. That will be our focus when we next talk about basketball, as well as other news that you'll only see with me. So please have a good night and join us then. Thank you for watching.